and welcome to the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. My name is Kyle Case, and I'll be your host on this amazing journey as we attempt to help you get the most out of your life. Today's guest, Rich Marquez, aka Pono, was diagnosed with stage 3+ pancreatic cancer, a diagnosis where only 15 to 20% of patients are even eligible for the life-saving Whipple procedure. Through what he calls a series of miracles, strong medical care, unwavering faith, a disciplined approach to nutrition and prehab, and constant care and encouragement from his wife, Rich not only endured the strongest preventative treatments with virtually no side effects, but he kept on living. 2 weeks after finishing 12 rounds of chemotherapy infusions, he was on a plane to Hawaii to play softball. Months later, Rich was competing in the Huntsman World Senior Games, where his team brought home the bronze medal. Today, his labs are clear, he's cancer-free, and he's preparing to take the field again. This year, Rich's team gave him the name Pono, a Hawaiian word and name meaning righteousness, balance, and integrity, and it's a nickname that he wears with honor. Rich, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What an incredible journey.
Yeah, it's breathtaking. If you actually look back in just a year period of time, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we're going to dig into that. I want to talk right off the bat about the diagnosis, pancreatic cancer. At first, you were given the impression that it was pancreatitis, and then later the diagnosis was changed to pancreatic cancer. We know that is, listen, none of us want to get a cancer diagnosis. We all want to avoid the C word as much and for as long as possible. But pancreatic cancer is a serious one. We all know that. Tell us what that diagnosis felt like when you heard those words.
Well, to be honest with you, there's really no words to explain. When I was sitting in the doctor's office and they came out and told us, I kind of went numb. I believe our mind has a protective mechanism that protects us from trauma. So I kind of walked out of the office and went through the surgery. And it was about 2 months after the surgery was done. I'm sitting in a recliner like this on the side of my bed and just reflecting. And all of a sudden it hit me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, what just happened? It felt like a ton of bricks just landed on me. And from that point on, it just was kind of little bits and pieces, fragmenting in to explain where I've been.
There is, you mentioned, our brains and our body's ability to kind of protect us. It's a traumatic experience. There's no question. You went through trauma, and everybody is going to react and respond to that a little bit differently. And certainly your journey was your own journey. But you got the diagnosis. First of all, you got the incorrect diagnosis and then the corrected diagnosis, and then you say you went through the surgery. Is that the Whipple procedure?
Yes.
Okay, so many people are not even eligible for it.
Yes.
When you found out that it was something that was going to be possible for you, how did that feel? What was that word like?
Well, my wife had already been researching on it a little bit.
Okay.
So like you said, there's only 15 to 20% people that are even eligible for that. So we're sitting in the doctor's office, the pancreatic cancer surgeon's office, and he's explaining all the different options, the chemo infusions, the surgery or whatnot. Then he explained the protocols for the Huntsmans. And he started the word, he said, chemo. My wife shuddered. No chemo. He looked at her and then he looked at me and he said, Rich, what do you want?
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, excuse my language, but get that bleep out of me.
Yeah.
So he looked at me and he says, let's do it. He walked out of the room, got the scheduler, and they scheduled it that day. And within 3 weeks, I was in surgery.
Okay. So tell us, what is the Whipple procedure? I've heard the phrase before, but I'm not familiar with it. For those of us who are in my boat and don't know exactly what it is, tell us, what is the Whipple procedure?
Well, it's quite an extensive surgery. It's anywhere from 5 to 7 hours long.
Okay.
So they start at the top of your chest and go down your stomach, and they open you up, and they search for any other cancer that's in there. And then what they do is they go in, and Mike was on the head of the pancreas. So he had to go in and cut off the head of the pancreas. Then he went in and took my gallbladder out and the duodenum, which all your vitamins and nutrients collect. And then they reconstructed my digestive tract. So I'm all brand new inside. Kind of like the $6 million man, the LTV show.
New and improved, or
New
just
and improved. New and improved. Bigger, better, and big.
Well, that's fantastic. Sounds like an incredible, well, just a procedure.
Yes.
A great opportunity for you to be able to take advantage of. This was done at the Huntsman
Yes.
Cancer Institute, which is, of course, a tremendous partner of the Huntsman World Senior Games. They, their family, the Huntsman family, the organization as a whole, has obviously been influential and instrumental in the success of this event as our title sponsor. Tell us about your experience at the Huntsman Cancer Institute.
Well, it's been pretty amazing, actually. Starting with just the start of the whole process, it was kind of the doors kept opening up. And we got into Dr. Baker, the surgeon, the pancreatic cancer surgeon. And from then on, all the doctors were like right there with us the whole time, explaining every detail, any questions we might have. They had answers, comfort. Dr. Baker was like a grandpa. He just felt so peaceful and calm.
Yeah.
Knowing that you knew you were in the right hands. The oncology team was amazing. With appointments, letting us know our labs, letting us know where we were at, how many more we had to do, all of that. The liver cancer surgeon that did the ablation just a couple of weeks ago was amazing. I actually had my port taken out last week. He walked into the procedure and he goes, "I heard Mr. Richard Marquez is in the room." And he walked over with a big smile.
Yes, Sir Richard Marquez.
So then he walked over, shook my hand, and he says, I just talked to Dr. Kinsey, the oncologist. He says, "You're not going to be seeing him anymore, are you?" And I go, "No, we kind of broke that off and said, we're not seeing each other no more."
But that's the best breakup you ever went
Exactly,
through, right?
exactly. So then I just told him, "Thank you."
Yeah.
I said, "Thank you for doing that. You done the perfect, from what I understand, you done the perfect procedure, and there's nothing left in me." And he just kind of smiled, choked up, and he walked out of the room.
Yeah.
But it was just amazing, just the doctors and their team, but also the people, the staff from the RV parkers. You walk in, they got a smile, take your key, you get your car, and just so loving and kind.
Yeah.
Everyone, the cafeteria people, everybody. It's an amazing experience because you're already devastated.
Yeah.
But to walk into a place that showed so much kindness to you and your situation, it's pretty amazing.
We know that that is one of the hallmarks of John Huntsman that he left behind as he's passed away several years ago now. But he really wanted the care to be just the best in the world. And there are lots of different options when you're looking at, cancer treatment and medical care around the world. But we're proud to be associated with the Huntsman Cancer Institute. And as we visit with people who take advantage of the services that are offered there, we know that there is not just a high level of knowledge and, medical experience, which is vital and important, but that aspect of true care.
Yes.
Just care, charity, humility, love, kindness, all those things go a long way. And we know that that's a hallmark of the Huntsman Cancer Institute. And again, we're so proud to be associated with a facility like that.
You should be. That's for
I
sure.
want to talk a little bit more about the procedure and the journey. You credit your wife with a lot of what is, kind of affectionately called prehab. We know what rehab is.
Yeah.
That's the after work, but the prehab is what happens before. Nutrition, affirmations. Talk about what that journey was like and how having your wife in your corner really made a difference for you.
I credit being here from her.
Yeah.
With all of that, every step of the way. The prehab is what she did is she prepared me for after surgery. So when I got out of surgery, my body was already in the mechanics of doing what I needed to do to get through. With walking, I walked a mile a day. Before the surgery, I water, all my vitamins and nutrients, staying hydrated, all of that. It was preparing me for after surgery. So when I got out of surgery, you're kind of, you're not there. But it kind of, my body was already in the mechanics of it. So it just naturally did it.
Yeah.
as far as the infusions themselves, that helped me prepare for that also, because as you're doing the infusions, it's taking away from your body. It's depleting the vitamins and the nutrient, all of that. So I was already in that routine to refill them already anyway.
Yeah.
But my wife also researched. She was always one step ahead of everything.
Yeah.
She knew there was something more than the pancreatitis.
Yeah.
So she kept getting me scans, getting me to specialists, whatever she could do. She knew there was something more. And it's interesting is once we found out what it was, she says, I'm done being the nurse, researcher, whatever. I'm going to be your wife now.
Yeah.
And she just got to love and comfort me. It was the best part of my journey.
You go through a very difficult and traumatic experience, which cancer treatment is always going to be that. You go through it with love and help and support. It's what makes the journey possible,
Yes.
for sure. Talk about daily affirmations. I know that was a part of your prehab as well as the rehab. How important is
Important
that?
part. So I had a recliner sitting right next to my bed because I couldn't lay down. Well, my wife would strategically place little signs, little knickknacks.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the chair looking right here, and the very first sign it says is, everything is going to be all right. That's the first thing I saw every time I woke up.
Bob Marley's advice.
Exactly.
Rings true.
Exactly.
Every little thing is going to be all right.
So that was the first thing I saw in my mind. And then I would get up and walk into the bathroom, and she had another one, is do not be discouraged or dismayed. It's Joshua 1:9.
Yeah.
Be strong and courageous. So I saw that next. And then I would walk around the house and I would see different pictures of me and her, both healthy, young, beautiful, you know what I mean? Not all tired and haggardly or whatever. But it just brought a memorization of this is where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Every day of my rehab, all of the whole journey, even through the infusions. Yeah, it's all around my house.
I think there's something to that, and research backs it up. Positive energy, positive thoughts, positive thinking. It goes a long way. It's hard to measure. It's hard to articulate. It's hard to put it into words, but it goes a long way in creating a positive outcome. And even if the outcome isn't what you hope or expect or are working towards, the journey is so much more pleasant when you've got that, again, that love, that support, the positive outlook, the upbeat thinking. It all goes towards the part of the journey that helps you get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it does.
So you've done that. You've gone through the hard part. You've done the surgery. You've done the infusions. As you said, you've been tired. You've been haggard. You've gone through all of that. Maybe even in the middle of that, 2 weeks after you're finished with your last treatment, you decide, I got to get back on the softball field. Tell us about that.
Well, I've played softball for 40 plus years.
Yeah.
It's in my blood. But it's more to it with the Huntsman Senior Games. My team is the Hawaiians, and it's more of a brotherhood.
Yeah.
And I wanted to reconnect with them because they have been so supportive through this whole process. Always sending me a little confirmation of some kind of good positive word or a prayer sign or we love you. And it was a mindset I had to get to.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to jump in and do it. I didn't want to waste no time. Let's just do it.
So you didn't. 2 weeks later, you're on an airplane. You're flying to Hawaii for a softball tournament. Did you get to play, or were you there?
It was a practice.
Okay.
So we were practicing for the Huntsman Games. This was probably the middle of September. So we were preparing. They had already been practicing.
Yeah.
I said, I want to come over. I want to see my boys, my family, and I want to get some practice time because I'm going to be ready for the games. And they say, "Oh, come on over." They're so excited, But mostly it was reconnection. I got there, and my coach, first thing he did is grab me, hugged me, and he says, "You know what? I want you to share with the team your journey, just a little bit of it. I want you to encourage them to never give up, to keep fighting, and you will be a winner." And so I had to get my mindset ready, But the reconnection was probably the most important part.
I can just imagine the reunion, hugs, high fives, maybe a couple of tears. I don't know, but plenty of smiles. We talk about We talked about the importance of your wife and her role in that. Can't be overstated at all. I mean, how crucial and vital and important was that? There's also an element that is also vital and important in your greater community, and for you, that was your softball brothers.
Yes.
And we've talked about this before on the show, and people who participate in sport and who experience that, they do that. There is something about that camaraderie,
Yeah.
that friendship, that support. And it's a family, sometimes you disagree and a misplay and maybe a little sharp word here or there. But at the end of the day, it is about the love and the friendship and the support. And you experienced that firsthand with your team. And as you said, you're getting ready for the Huntsman World Senior Games. You went over there for the practice. I mean, because of the prehab and the rehab and everything, your vitamins, the nutrition, you're ready to go. What was it like stepping on the diamond for competition at the games in St. George, Utah?
I was actually excited. I wasn't nervous at all because, like I said, my mindset was already prepared. I was going to go to win, and that's just, it's not just a competitive type of win, but it's just a journey of winning in life.
Yeah.
Keeping your mindset straight and pure and keeping your heart pure, it's a whole part of who you are. You're a winner doesn't mean that you're a cutthroat and you want to take everyone out.
Right.
You can be a winner and be inclusive to all the people that you're even beating or even losing to. And that's what Huntsman Games is so cool about.
Yeah.
Is you get to experience that,
We love being a part of that. And like you said, if you do it right, if you do sports right, there's so many life lessons.
Yes.
So much that you get to take with you. How to win, maybe more importantly, how to lose, how to connect, how to, not only give support, but to receive support, whether it's on the baseball diamond or in a hospital bed or wherever that happens to be. And if you do sport right, there's so much that you can learn from that. You've been competing for several times at the Huntsman World Senior Games. How many years do you have under your belt?
4 years.
Okay, so you've come several times. Do you have a favorite experience that stands out?
Yes, and there's so many. I could be here for hours letting you know. But one last year is we played Team Canada, and I don't even remember if we won or lost. I think we lost, but at the end of the game, you go and shake hands and you do all that. Well, they always prayed around the pitcher's mound. Well, they invited us to join. So we all said, sure. So we all get around in a circle. We start grabbing each other's hands, and some bowed their heads, some kneeled. And then we start praying. Their coach starts praying. He starts praying for each other, the other people, the other athletes involved in the tournament. Started praying for first responders, for our military, for their country, our country.
Yeah.
And I guess after the prayer, I stepped back and I just looked at it and I said, "You got all these big burly macho men out there on the field humbling themselves."
Yeah.
And people all around watching, and they're humbling themselves and just kneeling before God and just praying thank you and praying for each other. It was just so powerful. You can't unsee something like that.
Or unfeel it.
Unfeel it. It's always a part of you forever.
Something very special about that. You had another opportunity to give some encouragement to another cancer patient at the games. Tell us about that.
And that was really cool too. That was last year. So we're getting ready to play the next game. They're from Colorado. And we're walking, and you walk in and stand out of the way so they can walk in and out. And this big old, huge guy walks. He goes, "I heard somebody on this team survived pancreatic cancer." He's like, I'm like, "Me?" "Yeah, me right here." And he walks over and he hugs me. He like lifted me off the ground.
Yeah.
But he was just like, "Good job." And then half their team kept walking by and hugging me. And then I got to the end, and there was a guy standing there by himself, and he says he's tearing up. And he showed me his band, and it was a blue for prostate cancer.
Yeah.
He goes, "I'm going through that right now." And he teared up. But he didn't say nothing about himself. He gave me a hug and said, "I'll be praying for you. Good job." And he walked out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you say to that? I had no words to express how I felt in that moment.
What a special memory, special time.
Yes.
Speaking of special memories and special times, let's talk about Pono. So this is a nickname that your team has given you. Tell us what it means to you.
Actually, they call me the Utah Pono now. So that's my name. It's not even a nickname. That's who I am.
Yeah.
It was explained to me, it's somebody who walks upright with integrity and always do what's right. Through this whole journey, uh, it's been, I wear that name with honor because you think about the culture and the family unity that they have. They invited me into their family. I got to represent that. That Pono name. Every time I've talked to someone outside of Hawaii, they look at it and they look at each other or whatever, and they kind of like they're in reverence.
Yeah.
You don't realize how important that is. But through this journey, it's been hard at times just to get through, let alone do what's right. And there's something my dad told me as a kid. He says, "You always do what's right, no matter what, even if it hurts. Do what's right, and it'll be right."
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting that that's part of my name now, but it became part of who I've always been. So it's very interesting. It's hard in life just to get through life. Everyday stuff,
Yeah.
and to actually walk with integrity and do it where it's right, where sometimes you got to be bold and say something, but you're saying it with respect.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you got to go and give somebody a hug out of the blue, whatever it's right, you have to do that. Sometimes it takes a lot,
I love the advice that your dad shared. Do what's right even when it hurts. A lot of times we say even when it's hard, but there's another element there when you take it to the next level of even when it hurts. And that could be, physical, mental, emotional, social pain. Almost always it's social pain, right?
Yeah.
That's why we sometimes choose to make compromises with our integrity.
Yes.
But what an honor for you to have received that name from your teammates. I can tell that it means a lot to you, and I can tell that you will honor it. And I think that that's, just again, an incredible honor and part of this sport family and the camaraderie and the friendship and the love that comes with that and with teammates and just the community as a whole. We've got about 30 seconds. If you could put it into words, which I know is hard to do, the biggest lesson that you've learned through this journey.
I do want to say there's been more support than my team, which I love to death, but you have family members,
Yep.
you've got friends, you've got people you don't even know
Yeah.
latching on and just supporting you. People at the games themselves are so supportive of each other. It's awesome. But to put it all in a perspective, I kind of learned that you live forward and learn backwards.
Yeah.
You don't stay in the past, you learn from it, but you move forward and you always reach for the prize that's up ahead of you, always reaching forward to something, a goal or something. It's a mindset that you get. I learned to trust my God no matter what I saw, no matter what I felt. I had to make some tough decisions, and I even decided a few things against the doctor's wishes. And it came back and he said, "I'm glad you made that choice."
Yeah.
But I trusted in my God, and he survived.
Yeah, I really just appreciate that concept of living forward, learning
Back.
from the things that we've experienced, that can take us a long way, but you can't live in the past.
Yeah.
You got to move forward. And I do believe my own personal belief as well, that there is a greater power and to give yourself up for something bigger than yourself, whatever you call it.
Yes.
Something bigger than yourself. I think
Yes.
there's true strength in that as well.
Yes.
So, Rich, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for sharing your story. We want to wish you the very, very best of everything that you have coming down the line for you. And we hope to see you for many, many, many more Octobers to come at the Huntsman World Senior Games.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Just a couple of things to wrap us up here. A reminder that registration is now open, so take full advantage of that. You're going to check our website out at seniorgames.net. We've got rules, schedules, locations, venues, everything you need to know, including how to register for the games at seniorgames.net. The games will run from October 5th through the 17th of 2026, so put that on your calendar. Next week, we're going to be joined by Kristen Blake, a functional nutritionist and founder of a virtual root cause practice serving clients nationwide, specializing in optimizing energy, metabolic health, inflammation, hormone balance, as well as gut health and performance at every stage of life, inspired firsthand by her experience in supporting her retired NBA husband's longevity. Kristen uses advanced lab testing, strategic supplementation, and personalized nutrition to uncover hidden drivers of dysfunction. You don't want to miss that show. Remember to tune in live next and every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time on AM 1450 or FM 93.1 for the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. We take this live show and turn it into a podcast, and you can find that anywhere that you find your favorite podcasts. If you're listening or watching the podcast, give us a rating, write a review. That it really helps us spread the word. You can find this and previous shows also, once again, on our website at seniorgames.net, so check that out. Today's inspirational thought: until you get your nutrition right, nothing is going to change. Until next Thursday, stay active.